Well, now the African Action Congress, that's the AAC, says the convener of #Revolution Now, Omoyele Sowore, remains the authentic national chairman of the party. Well, this clarification comes days after the party revalidated his position. The National Executive Committee of the party insists that at no point whatsoever did it suspend or expel its national chair. A faction of the AAC led by Leonard Nzenwa expelled Sowore from the party for using it as a platform to mobilize for its revolution against the federal government and other anti-party activities. The party wants the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to stop dealing with those it claims to be party usurpers. It says it's a contravention of the Electoral Act.
Well, to help us get more clarity on the situation with the AAC, Dr. Leonard Nzenwa, the national chairman of the party, actually joins us now, and he's also the chairperson of IPAC, that's the Inter-Party Advisory Committee. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Nzenwa. Well, let's get this clarification, because from one angle, they said, you know, Sowore is still in charge of the AAC, and on the other hand, you say he's not a member of the party. Where are things standing right now?
Well, I do not like talking about this particular matter. I have much more serious and more pressing things for this country to talk about than to talk about Sowore and his gang of miscreants.
Yesterday, we had a guest here on the show. I felt you should know better, not to use it as swear words or insults. Just make your point without insulting anybody.
Okay. The point I'm making yesterday, I'm making right now, is basically we'll have more serious issues to talk about, more issues that are more germane for national security and other things.
We are having this conversation.
Exactly.
This is also important. We have to talk about deepening our democracy in Nigeria, and the party is a part of it. Now,
let me be very clear and make this very clear. Omoyele Sowore was expelled from this party. First of all, he was suspended from the party. And after suspension, he was also removed and expelled. He was suspended 27th of March 2019. Here, the NEC did that. Now, after the suspension, it was 6 months. Before the expiration of the 6 months, Omoyele Sowore was now removed and also expelled from the party. And that particular was held in the convention in Owerri. It's not in doubt. It's everywhere. Everybody knows about this. Now, when some individuals, some persons come around and begin to say that Sowore is the chairman of AAC, and I begin to laugh. And why I do say so is because there are so many things surrounding this individual. There are so many things happening in the polity that everybody is very much aware. But before even an individual comes to a studio of this magnitude, with this kind of reputation, to begin to talk about that this person is not a member of this political party or is an expert member of this party, there are clearing houses. You cannot do anything in this country for instant if CBN has not given approval in the financial sector. Is it not true? You can't. No bank can operate in this country. Now, in the same vein, no individual can be declared a chairman of a political party if the Independent National Electoral Commission have done its clearing house.
Let's clarify that. I know that the AAC had a convention in Lagos where Omoyele Sowore emerged as the chairman of your party. Clarify that happened. Aside from him, we had other members of your executive committee that came up from that convention, which was recognized by INEC. True or false?
Let me make it very clear. Let me be very clear. What took place in Lagos was not a convention. What we set out to do in convention, we've set out to have a convention in Lagos. When we got to convention in Lagos, now the first thing we did was to do a ratification of Omoyele Sowore as the party's presidential candidate. I myself, I was contesting as the chairman of the party. Now, when the time came for the election to be done, Omoyele Sowore took off and ran away from the venue. It's CM de Magodo. It's every day. Every person was almost lynched. I had to step in to stop it. He ran away from the venue of that particular event. He was only ratified as the presidential candidate of the political party called AAC. Then when it became time for us to have a substantive election to elect the substantive leadership of the party, Sowore ran away from the premises. Ask any person that was there. I had to intervene to hold everybody so that the delegates did not lynch on any person. Now, by that singular act, what happened? Sowore became both the presidential candidate of a political party as well as the chairman of the party, which was not elected. Now, this is against all that we have preached over the year, as those have been on ground to fight against injustice, democratic freedom fighters and all that. What did he do? How can an individual become the presidential candidate of a political party at the same time become the chairman of the party? Okay, and the party felt very pissed off, because Delegates across the country came for this particular convention, and they think did not work the way it went. And we now began to say that this same person does not, what he preaches is not what he practices. And so that's where the problem started. So no convention took place. It was just ratification of Omoyele Sowore
as
the
presidential candidate.
That's it.
Fine. So he's still in the AAC?
He is not a member of the AAC.
Okay,
that's the point here.
But he was ratified as the presidential candidate of the AAC?
Yes. October 6, 2018, he was ratified as the presidential candidate. And you have to understand as well that the presidential candidacy has a tenure period. That's between the electoral period. Okay. And that has elapsed. Okay. Now,
that has elapsed?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this. You are being accused of conniving, that's the word they use, with certain elements in the INEC to stage it, or to stage a fake, illegal, and purported convention contrary to the provisions of the Constitution or the AAC. What do you have to say to that?
I think this is nonsensical. It is simply nonsensical. Why do I say so? Now, a party cannot be in a vacuum. That's the first thing you have to also note. A party cannot be under a leadership that is seen, not only seen, but a party cannot be under a leadership whose individual has clearly showed that is anti-democratic. Because what happened in Magodo on October 6th was clearly a undemocratic, a totalitarian and despotic nature of a person exhibited. And at that point, it became very clear that he does not have what it takes to run the party. And so,
but you still let him be your presidential candidate.
No.
I'm concerned. I'm really concerned about
let's take this through. Let's take it.
Just hold on. Because there's not a lot of time for us to go into all of those details.
One can't help but talk about factions. But okay, let me ask you this question in fairness.
Yes.
Who does INEC, as the electoral umpire of this nation, recognize as the chairman of AAC?
Of course, it's my very, very humble self. I am
Leonard
Nzenwa. Yes. I am the chairman of the African National Congress, as well as also I am the chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council of Nigeria. It's everywhere. It's not hidden. His expulsion is not hidden. And let me tell you why the party took the decision it took. It should be very clear to every person. He's talking about that the 6 months did not elapse.
Yeah, because I was going to.
Yes, I just want to be.
That has
it did not elapse. That did not
court. Well, it said that he went to court. The court did say he's not the chairman for 6 months, but it has elapsed, and so. Status quo remains same. I think that's
no. I think basically he's glorifying his ignorance about the law. I think what he's basically doing is a charity. He doesn't understand the basic principles of law. What happened was this: he was suspended in March 27, 2019. Right now, it was 6 months.
Yeah.
Before the
last on September 2019.
Yes. Before September, we had the convention in Owerri. It was widely televised. INEC was there. All stakeholders was there. And it was there that I was elected as the chairman of the party. Now, it was at this convention, first of all, that his suspension was ratified. It's a procedure. His suspension was ratified. His removal was also done. And also his expulsion was, motions were moved and votes were taken. And all this happened at the convention. It was not hidden. And so that was the end. This thing happened before the expiration of that 6 months. So
but I'm really concerned because the AAC is a small party at the end of the day.
It's not a small party.
No. If you look at it, how many elective positions are you currently holding? That's what I'm looking at. I'm not talking about your number or how your reach across the country. But if you're having such a challenge, just being able to get your things together in terms of your members and all of that, how are you looking to capture power? Let's say by 2023, which is just around the corner. And as the chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, you do have other political parties in that council. So how are you able to advise them when your own house is not even in order?
Very good. These are very good questions. Let me tell you something. In your family, in your particular family, you have disagreement and misunderstanding amongst your siblings. Is it not true? When you're talking about political contestations, such things all do exist. You are talking about interest maximization. You are talking about positioning. You are talking about several things at one. The point is this. The point we're trying to make is this political party is set out to demystify those we call demigods. this party is set out to also keep this idea about I founded a political party. This party is set to elevate the status of democracy in such a different manner. And that's what we're doing. We're going to have a lot of sheaves. We're going to have a lot of knuckle. Now, that this is happening in AAC is a very good thing because it's functional to this political party. Now, for a person of Omoyele Sowore standing, who we know his pedigree, which we know that basically what happens is basically, of course we know that he has a matter with the state. Of course, this is an individual that is facing treasonable felony. It's a very serious case against the state. Now, how do you expect a political party of this magnitude to relate with such a person in the eyes of all stakeholders?
That's why your internal party mechanism.
It's not about internal, it's also about security issues.
Hold on, let me drop this question.
Okay, please, go ahead.
You're also being accused of trying to illegally, use the word illegally, to remove elected AAC state chairman. This, despite an earlier directive by the commission, INEC, that is INEC, that elected state chairman should not be removed because their tenures are yet to expire. If their tenures are yet to expire, why the rush in trying to move in there? That is, I mean, if that's what is happening, that is going against the law. Okay, let me be very frank with you. I think, let me not just reach the conclusion that maybe you've run on a script, but I need to be very straight about it. Now, as the founding national secretary of this political party, I am the history of this political party. I drove registration of this party. So I can tell you from A to Z where elections was conducted, where Congress was held, and those who, because I was managing the party. He was simply not around. He was every time on the air. So I can tell you clearly and vividly how this party was functioning. Now, these sets of individuals that are being talked about are basically those who never had elections. I have my records to prove that. And now, so for you to come to say that I am illegally in quote, changing or removing state chairman, it neither makes sense nor here and there. The point we're making is this: a political party is an organic setting. No, but did the commission recognize that they are elected officials? That's the question.
No. What basically happened is this: it is not that the commission recognizes. The commission recognizes that I'm the chairman of AAC. That's what you have to know. All stakeholders also recognize that I'm the chairman of AAC. That is known. Now, what the commission said then, that we need to realign ourselves to our constitution, where those who were elected into this position should be left like that. But the point is that many of them were not elected. Many of them were elected. So now the antics or this particular allegation that is being brought forward is neither here nor there, because when you find somebody who is not performing in a particular capacity and all that, and he is not in tune with what you're doing.
Are you people making moves to conduct a reconciliation? Are you going to go on like
well,
this?
the point is, when I look at the whole thing, I look at what happened this, that I smiled. I don't know where he's coming from. The 2023 is coming up. He's a showman, he's a business. They're all business people and all that. But the point I would like to make, the point I like to make before you end up is this. Okay. Now, Omoyele Sowore is not a member of AAC. That is point one. Point two, he is not a leadership person in AAC. Point three, he has a case against the state. Well, point three. Point four.
We have to really wrap this up. We'd have to say
point four before I end.
Thank you so much for joining us.